My daughter Emma's insulin was poisoned, cloudy, deadly, meant to kill her. I'm a nurse, I know what's at stake. Someone targeted my 7-year-old and I'll stop at nothing to find them. Watch a mother's fight for justice unfold, as I uncover the truth and make the culprit pay. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching, also like and subscribe for more stories. I stood in the kitchen, my heart pounding like a drum, staring at the insulin vial for my 7-year-old daughter Emma. The liquid was wrong, cloudy, murky, not the clear shine I'd seen every day for 3 years. I'd been a nurse for a decade. I knew insulin didn't look like this. Someone had tampered with it. My little girl, who needed this medicine to survive her type 1 diabetes, was in danger. Fear gripped me, but anger burned hotter. Who would try to hurt my baby? Why would anyone want to harm her? Emma sat at the dining table, her small hands coloring a picture of a sunflower, humming a tune from her favorite cartoon. Her green eyes sparkled with innocence, completely unaware of the nightmare I'd just uncovered. Diagnosed at 4, Emma faced daily battles with diabetes, but her bright smile kept me going. She was my everything, my reason to fight. "Mommy, is my shot ready?" she asked, her voice soft and trusting, her crayons scattered across the table. "Not yet, sweetie," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. "Let's have some cereal first." I couldn't let her see the panic clawing at my chest. I slipped the vial into my pocket and hurried to my bedroom, my hands shaking as I dialed Dr. Carter, our endocrinologist. "Sarah, bring that vial to the clinic now," he said, his voice sharp with urgency. I grabbed Emma's stuffed giraffe, her favorite comfort toy, and rushed her to the car, my mind spiraling. What if I'd given her that dose? What if I'd lost her forever? The drive to the hospital felt like an eternity. I glanced at Emma in the back seat, clutching her giraffe, singing softly to herself. Her tiny frame looked so fragile, her blonde curls bouncing as she swayed. The thought of someone targeting her made my stomach churn with dread. At the clinic, Dr. Carter tested the vial. His face turned pale as he read the results. "Sarah, this isn't just insulin. It's mixed with ethylene glycol, antifreeze. It's deadly poison. If you'd given this to Emma, she'd be gone within hours." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Poison? In my daughter's insulin? I clutched Emma's hand as she sat on the exam table, swinging her legs, oblivious to how close she'd come to death. "Who would do this?" I whispered, tears burning my eyes, my voice barely holding together. "We don't know," Dr. Carter said, his tone gentle but firm. "You need to call the police. This was no accident." Back home, Officer Lopez arrived, her notepad ready, her eyes sharp. She asked who had access to Emma's insulin, stored in a small locked fridge in the kitchen. My mind raced straight to Karen, our neighbor across the street. Karen was the kind of person who smiled to your face but spread venom behind your back. She'd been jealous ever since I organized a community fundraiser for Emma's medical bills last year. The event raised enough to cover a new insulin pump, but Karen called it attention-seeking, and spread lies that I was faking Emma's illness for sympathy. Neighbors had whispered about her cruel comments, but I'd brushed them off, until now. "She was in our kitchen last week," I told Lopez, my voice tight. "She brought a casserole, said it was a friendly gesture." I left her alone for a few minutes to grab Emma's coloring book from upstairs. Lopez nodded, her pen moving quickly. "Anyone else come to mind?" "No one," I said firmly. "The fridge is locked and I keep the key with me." Karen was the only one near it. "We'll question her," Lopez said. "For now, check every vial before you use it. And keep Emma close." That night I couldn't sleep. I sat by Emma's bed, watching her chest rise and fall, her giraffe tucked under her arm. Her soft snores were a reminder of how close I'd come to losing her. The thought of someone hating us enough to poison her insulin fueled a fire in my chest. I wasn't just scared, I was furious. I vowed to protect Emma no matter what it took. The next morning, the police searched Karen's house. They found a bottle of antifreeze in her garage and a syringe matching the ones I used for Emma's injections. Karen screamed that she was being framed, her face red with rage as she stood on her porch. The evidence was damning, but her lawyer was slick. In court, he argued the antifreeze was for her car, the syringe a coincidence from a supposed crafting project. The judge, citing insufficient direct evidence, let her out on bail. I was livid. She'd nearly killed my daughter, and she was walking free, smirking as she left the courthouse, her head held high. I stood outside the courtroom watching her climb into her car, her smug grin taunting me. My hands clenched into fists. The system had failed us, but I wouldn't. Karen lived across the street, her curtains always half open, her arrogance on full display. I decided to watch her, learn her habits, find a way to make her pay. She followed a strict routine, jogging at dawn, sipping coffee at the local cafe, and tending her prize rose garden in the afternoon. Those roses were her obsession, entered in every local competition, their perfect petals tied to her ego. An idea sparked in my mind. I bought a pesticide harmless to humans but deadly to plants, and mixed it into a spray bottle. Late at night, I crept into her yard, my heart pounding like a drum. I sprayed her roses lightly, just enough to make them wilt by morning. I slipped a note under her door: "You poisoned my daughter. Your roses are first. Confess or it gets worse." At dawn, Karen's screams woke the neighborhood. Her prized roses were drooping, their vibrant colors fading, petals scattered like broken dreams. She stood in her yard, clutching my note, her face pale with shock. I watched from my window, my pulse racing. She didn't call the police. Instead, she tore through her garden, digging frantically as if expecting more sabotage. I'd rattled her, but Karen was stubborn. She didn't confess. Instead, she spread lies that I was harassing her, turning some neighbors against us. Whispers followed me at the grocery store, eyes judging me as I pushed my cart. I couldn't let her win. I followed her for days, noting every move she made. One evening, I saw her sneak into her backyard shed, carrying a small black bag. My gut screamed that she was hiding something. I waited until she left, then picked the shed's lock with a hairpin, a trick I'd learned from a coworker years ago. Inside, I found bottles of chemicals, syringes, and a notebook with detailed notes on insulin dosages and poisoning methods. My hands shook as I photographed everything with my phone. This was the proof we needed, but I didn't trust the police to act fast enough. Karen had slipped through their fingers once. I needed to make sure she'd never hurt anyone again. Her roses hadn't broken her, so I planned something bigger. I remembered an old storage unit my late husband owned, filled with his hunting gear. Among the clutter was a metal cage big enough for a large animal, or a person. A dark idea formed. Karen needed to feel the terror she'd inflicted on Emma, the helplessness of being trapped. I wasn't a criminal, but I was a mother pushed to her limit. I waited for Karen's next jog through the woods behind our street. I followed, staying hidden in the shadows. When she stopped to tie her shoe, I moved quickly, pressing a cloth with a mild sedative, left over from my nursing days, over her mouth. She struggled, but my anger gave me strength. I dragged her to my car, parked nearby, and drove to the storage unit, my heart pounding with adrenaline. Inside, I locked her in the cage. When she woke, her eyes were wide with panic. "Sarah, let me out." "You're insane," she screamed, gripping the bars. "Insane?" I said, my voice ice cold. "You poisoned Emma's insulin. You tried to kill a 7-year-old. "I didn't mean it," she cried, her voice breaking. "I just wanted to scare you, make you look bad." "Scare me?" I shouted. "You could have killed her. She's a child, Karen. She trusts everyone, and you betrayed her." I pulled out my phone, showing her the photos, chemicals, syringes, her notebook. Her face crumpled. "How did you get those?" she whispered. "Confess," I said. "On video. Or you stay here." She shook her head, sobbing, refusing to speak. But the cage, the isolation, broke her spirit. After hours, she confessed on video, admitting she snuck into my house, mixed antifreeze into the insulin, and wanted to teach me a lesson for being the perfect mom. She admitted her jealousy, her hatred, how she'd watched us laugh at the fundraiser and burned with resentment. I stopped recording, my hands trembling with relief. I had what I needed. I left her in the cage a few more hours, letting her feel the weight of her actions. Then I drove her home, warning her I'd send the video to the police if she ever came near us again. She nodded, defeated, and stumbled into her house, her arrogance gone. The next day, I took the video to Officer Lopez. Karen was arrested within hours, charged with attempted murder. The evidence, her confession, the photos, the antifreeze, was undeniable. This time there was no escape. The judge denied bail and Karen was locked away, facing years in prison. The neighborhood rallied around us, horrified by her actions. They brought meals, toys for Emma, and apologies for ever believing Karen's lies. The community knit back together, stronger than before. Emma didn't know the full truth, and I was grateful for that. She was back to coloring sunflowers, her laughter filling our home like music. But I'd changed. I'd always been a protector, but now I knew the lengths I'd go to keep my daughter safe. Karen was gone, locked away where she couldn't hurt anyone. Emma was alive, her green eyes bright with hope. That was my victory. I sat with Emma that evening, her small hand in mine as she showed me her latest drawing, a sunflower under a rainbow. "It's you, Mommy," she said, her smile wide. "You make everything better." I hugged her tightly, tears in my eyes. Karen had tried to take her from me, but she'd failed. Emma was my light, and no one would ever dim it again.